Hey y'all, welcome to Horrible Gaming. My name is Nora, and on today's video we are progressing my abandoned city island. So today's video is going to consist of a lot of island decorating. We are continuing from my previous island video. I will have it linked in the video's description in case you want to go check it out. But we are going to be working on a overgrown abandoned highway, lots of filler ideas, just expanding the overall build in general. Hopefully today's video will give you some island inspiration or maybe just motivate you to pick up that console and start playing again. If you're new here, first of all, welcome to my channel. My name is Nora and I do a lot of Animal Crossing building. I am trying to do as many themes as possible. Anyways, I hope my channel brings you some island inspiration and I hope you also enjoy today's video. So if you've been following the build process of this abandoned island theme, you'll know that this is part 2 of my last video. I'm actually going to have a part 3 since I didn't get everything done today. I'm learning quickly that even though abandoned islands are very focused on trash clutter and also kind of simplicity in a way, it's taking me a lot longer than my usual city core islands to build just on it in general. Like every trash placement actually matters, every scattered paper. So that is why my last couple of videos on this island have been done in parts because I cannot get everything done in one day on this whole entire build. It's definitely caught me off guard since I've been really used to being able to just, go through my builds really quickly. I mean, every build we do on my channel does take me several hours to create, but this one has been taking me a lot longer. And I mean, I have done highways a lot on my channel, so the fact that a standard type of highway build is taking me so long is kind of catching me off guard a little bit, but I am liking the process and I think today's build still is coming along. I'm also really excited to share with you today because it's kind of like my plans for the build and also what we're going to see in this location in the future since I obviously couldn't get it done. But I'm really trying to go for a very overgrown vibe in this spot on the island. I do want to have like a balance of some areas are a little bit more lived in than others and some other locations will just be completely neglected. So that's kind of like my plan and vibe through this whole entire island. I really do want to have different kind of elements of abandoned throughout it. I also want to do some sort of like a industrial area, like a very big factory spot with like train tracks. So I'm really hoping that I have space for this. Originally, I was wanting to incorporate my ocean build that I actually talked about, I think on the first video of this island, I'm not sure, but I did talk about it recently. And I have a gut feeling that once again, this build is not going to make it onto one of my islands. I am seeing on my map right now that I am running out of space already. Highways and just big builds like this take up a lot of space. I was pretty confident that I could make that build work, but I think we're just going to have to save it for a different island. But I love that ocean build. I feel like it does work for a lot of different island themes, so we'll definitely see it on a future island, as I say that again for probably the 5th time, but I promise it will eventually make it onto an island. It's just definitely not going to be on this one. So today's highway build is actually really different from what we normally do on these type of builds. We're actually going to be combining 2 different highway styles into one entire build, and then we're going to have a nice little transition of a road on the first level eventually, and you'll see that later. There are some angled parts to this design. I'm actually wanting to kind of like frame some villager homes around that area, but you are not going to see it on today's video, but next video we will definitely have that done. Then we're going to transition the horizontal and vertical part of the highway into a lookout kind of like towards the ocean in the back of my map. Again, I didn't get this done today, but you will see it on the next video. I think it'll be really cool to kind of like combine both of these types of highways together. I don't think I've seen anyone do something like this yet, so definitely let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below. Anyways, I went ahead and time traveled to get my villager placed over here, and I have no idea what we're doing to the right side of this build quite yet, but we are going to do some cluttered trash decor next to this home. I will transition a couple of times through this decorating process because I honestly changed my mind a lot on the design and layout over here, so please bear with me. Today's video is probably going to have a lot of transitions. I struggle with changing my mind every 5 seconds when it comes to builds like this, so we will have some transitions for that reason. Definitely bear with me, but again, over here I'm just gonna literally pile a bunch of trash and call it a day because I mean the area is super weird and awkward. It's just a really small location. I mean, if you wanted to do something actually productive with this spot, maybe you could do like a little parking lot for a boat or a car, but I just couldn't think of any other idea for this spot. I did consider maybe something like a sitting area, but I am trying to make this look like it's not been lived in for a while, so I just went with the solid option of just putting trash everywhere. So now that we have the main structure done, we're gonna go ahead ahead and get started on the abandoned highway, and I fell in love with using the wheat items. I just really felt like it made the build look more overgrown. Obviously, this is optional. If you want it to not be as overgrown and abandoned, just definitely remove those. But I thought it was a really nice touch to the build. So I think that eventually I'm going to transition this part of the highway to the edge of my map that overlooks the ocean, just because I didn't realize we were so close to the edge of my map, but I'm pretty sure I can make this work. As for the other part of the highway, I have no idea how we're going to transition to it quite yet, but I was considering possibly maybe our abandoned swimming pool. So let me know if you think that should be our next build for the next part of this video. So I'm going to add a few more final touches to this upper part of our highway, and then we're going to start focusing on the first level of it. Now, I did not get the left side of this build done today, but you will see it on the next video. So I just want to let you know that the road that you're seeing right now is going to basically continue on the other side of the highway build. Before we start decorating the road, we're going to add some broken parts to it just to kind of make it a little more abandoned looking. Obviously, you can skip this part if you don't have enough custom design code space, but since I'm not really going to be focusing too much on structural builds on this island, I wanted to have as much detail to my roads as possible. So now that we have the main road transition done over here, we're going to start focusing on this little area right here next to our highway. It's a really small and awkward spot. Originally, I was going to do a villager home over here, but it kind of messed up the perspective from the other part of the highway. Like, it just did not look good at all. So I ended up settling for something a little bit more simple, and I did like a little overgrown construction site. I do want to make a larger construction site somewhere, but this one kind of just served as a purpose that the highway was kind of under construction and no one ever got to it. So I thought that was a really cute detail to add over here. But if you didn't want to go for the construction site option, you could do something as simple as a walkway or like a little bike parking lot, or you could just do the simple option of a bunch of trash everywhere. I mean, there are so many different ways you could go about this location. This is just kind of like what I decided on. Now, if you're someone out there who still doesn't really know what to do with that location, since you didn't want to do the construction idea we're doing on today's video, don't worry, I do have you covered. I've done 2 different styles of highways on my channel, and I'll have them linked in the video's description. Even if you're not doing the same theme that I'm working on, just know that a lot of my builds can work for other themes, but they both have different ways that you can transition from a build just like we're seeing today. So during the decorating process of the construction site, I did lose some of the footage, but don't worry, at the end of my video, I always do a final walkthrough so you'll see how the finished product looks. So now we're working on the last final part of this build today, and this is going to be 2 pieces of road transitioning into an angle, and that is the location I talked about earlier in today's video where I'm hoping to do villagers, kind of like framing the whole entire build. I think that this location would be the perfect spot to kind of get some villager homes placed, definitely because I'm running out of space already on my map. I have no idea what's planned for this island. If you're new here, I basically just go with the flow and wing my builds and technically hope for the best. It's also why I constantly delete my islands and restart, because sometimes my layouts don't always work. But I've noticed that the flow of this island has been going really well, so I feel pretty confident we can transition fine behind and around them. Now, I did consider maybe on the right side of this, once we get the villager homes placed, this could technically lead up to the factory area and the train tracks, but it honestly depends on how much space we have once we get those villager homes placed. But also keep in mind, we are going to be doing that abandoned swimming pool probably on the right side of a map. But of course, if there's any other ideas you hope to see on this island, let me know in the comments section. I'm always checking them out, and the feedback does help me figure out what we're going to do on my island themes. Alright, so I went ahead and added some road imperfections and just a few more details to the whole entire build, but now it is time to do our final walkthrough of everything we got done today. So we will start the final walkthrough actually here, and we did this whole entire spot on my last video, so feel free to go check that out. But I think this transitioned really nicely to the highway build. I have a lot to do still. As you can see, we have so many empty spaces, but I think that everything came together really well today. Here's how that construction site ended up looking. I just thought that was a really cute detail for the build, and here's how that road location is starting to look. As you can see, we get a really nice view from this part on the highway, and this is why I'm thinking having some villager homes kind of framing that whole entire location will really give a nice city core feel to that location. And then maybe we could even do a abandoned playground, since there's going to be so many villager homes over there. Regardless, we have so much planned for this island, and I hope that it's bringing you a ton of inspiration. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a horrible day.